Good morning, everyone. It's Anand from ImageGrafix. I welcome you all to Primavera webinar series, and today's topic is what's new in Primavera P6 EPPM 19.12. Okay. Before we start our agenda, we would like to take a poll on to understand what is the current industry trends on Primavera usage. Let's so that everyone can join in and answer the poll. I will launch the poll now. Now you should all be seeing the poll question, which is what is the current version of Primavera you are using now? Please select the answer, and we'll give some time for everyone to answer the question, and then we can start our agenda. So we are still waiting for everyone to answer the question. Once everyone answers, we'll close the poll. We'll close the poll in 5 more seconds. Now we are closing the poll. Let me share you the poll results. So as you can see, many of them are still on 8.3. Now currently actually we are in 19.12. Yeah, I can understand many of them are still in 8.3, and others are in many are others in others, which is maybe 15.1 or 15.2 versions. Okay, now regarding questions. Now going forward into our agenda, regarding if you have any questions during the webinar, you can post your questions in questions tab, or you can raise your hands during our Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Now going into our agenda, this is our corporate profile. We are ImageGrafix Software FZCO. We are founded in 1996. We are almost 25 years old company. We have head office in Dubai, UAE, and we have group offices: ImageGrafix Software Solutions Private Limited, India; Engineering Services and Enterprise Solutions Private Limited, India. In UAE, we are located in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and in India, we are located in all the major Indian metro cities, which are Chennai, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Delhi, Pune, and Baroda. And you can reach us on imagegrafix.com. So before we get into what's new in Primavera P6 EPPM, let's see what is just a overview on Primavera P6 EPPM. EPPM is Enterprise Project Portfolio Management, which is EPPM is a web-based version which is connected to a centralized database where you can access it using any web browser, and it has many functionalities such as dashboards, portfolios. Then it has approvals. Then you have reporting options where you can connect to Primavera BI, and inbuilt it has a mobile application as well, which is Primavera Team Member, which you can see on the right side, which makes your team collaboration and stakeholder collaboration more effective, so that project managers will always be aware on what is the current progress in the site. So going forward into the slide, let's see on Primavera P6 EPPM. These are the major overview, just an overview on Primavera EPPM, where where it gives monitor and visualize project performance versus plan using dashboards. For their project managers and portfolio managers can analyze their portfolios using portfolio analysis, and they can take better decision using what if analysis, or they can take better decision using waterline analysis. And using Primavera P6 team member, you can gather information and status updates at any real time. Instead of your planning engineer, you can assign your tasks or activities to your team members so that they can update those status updates back in field using mobile application. They can either update the progress, they can update the discussion items, and they can even take pictures and attach those pictures using the mobile application, which I have shown you here. Going into our agenda, today's agenda, what's new in Primavera P6 EPPM? So these are the new features and enhancements that we are going to talk about. Primavera P6 EPPM 19.12 was just released in December 2019. We haven't had an update to on-premise version of P6 since August 2018. So we are on 18.8, and now we are jumping to 19.12. I just want to remind you that cloud users are using Oracle Cloud. You can get updates every month, so you will see all the small incremental updates. But the on-premise users, we only see one update in a year. In fact, the Oracle has made a change that they will only release one update per year for on-premise users, where before they were actually doing two updates per year. So now every year we can look forward to an update in December only. So in 19.12, we have better integrations with Primavera suite applications such as Primavera Cloud Services, which is previously called Oracle Prime, and other Primavera suites such as Unifier and all, where we have got more data coming back and forth for the better integration with other ERP tools as well. Now coming into new features and enhancements, so the functional mean these are the features which are useful or helpful for everyday users who are using Primavera on day-to-day basis. So Oracle has many small incremental changes in released from 18.8 to 19.1, but we are taking we are only presenting uh, uh, we are only presenting most commonly useful features and enhancements for all. So going forward, these are the features which is XML. There are three new features and enhancements for XML files, and you have dissolve activities with or without lag, and new features for filtering activities, and improvements in project statistics portlets. We will see all the features in detail in the coming slides. And admin, so this admin is basically the useful for the users who has super admin access, where they can do import export global data, add image stored images, printing enhancements, and allow and restrict access to resources, and view migration utilities and other features as well. So let us dive into our presentation now. For new features and enhancement functional. So for XML files, we have three new features, which is scheduling and leveling options can be exported and imported from Primavera XML. Update baseline when importing Primavera XML files, and import currency improved currency import. So these two we'll talk about in the coming slide. Improved currency import. You can choose to import projects from Primavera XML files using currency rate in XML file or the currency rate in your database. To use the currency rate in your XML file, you must have a matching currency ID and name in your database. XML scheduling and leveling options. So here, scheduling and leveling options, So we all know we have a required scheduling options we set for each and every project based on your requirements. So now Oracle has provided an option where you can be scheduling and leveling options can be exported to and imported from Primavera XML. When you export projects to Primavera XML format, scheduling and leveling options are included. When importing the Primavera XML file, you can choose whether to import with update existing or keep existing import actions against the scheduling and leveling options. Let me show how we can configure this setting in the application. So go to actions, import and export projects, select the file which you want to import, which is already available in your database. So it is loading. Now select import action as update existing and select where you want to import this file to. Select and go to manage templates, edit, and in basic and in projects data, let it load. Yes, and you can see this scheduling options has been newly added here, whether you can see keep existing or update existing. Keep existing means it will keep the existing schedule options which are there in your database as it is, or if you give update existing, that means you have it will update the scheduling options with the options from the XML file. Okay, let's cancel this. Back. Now going back to the next feature of XML file, which is update baseline when importing XML files. You can choose to update baselines when importing a project from primary XML file. When you select the update existing import action at project level, matching baselines, you will be updated from the import file. Baseline you choose to import but which do not have match in your database against the project you selected to update will be added to the project. So as you can see here, now I have selected import action is update existing. Now I have this project already inside my database and it has the baseline which is initial baseline BL initial baseline. It shows that it is already exist. If I choose this select option, it will what system does is it will update the changes from the XML file, or you can choose to keep the existing baseline as it is, and you have an option to either import or not import the new baselines as well. So this is very helpful feature for project engineers to know what are the baselines that already exist within your database and what are the data baselines which are available where you can either import or not import into the database. Going back to the next feature, so now the next feature is dissolve activities with or without lag. Primavera P6 has built-in operation called dissolve activities that allows us to delete an activity without deleting its relationship. So we will see what is dissolve activity in the next coming slide. So choose whether or now you can choose whether or not to retain lag when dissolving activities using retain lag settings in general section of global tab of my preferences page. If you choose to retain lag, the lag from the dissolved activities predecessor relationship will be added to that of its successor relationship and applied to the new relationship. So let me show what is dissolve activities. So activity 1, 2, 3 are having a relationship. Activity 1 is linked to activity 2, 2 is linked to activity 3. Now when you choose to dissolve this activity 2, then activity 1 will be directly linked to activity 3. So now what Oracle has provided is if you have a lag from activity 1 to activity 2, now it will, when you dissolve the activity 2, it will, this lag from activity 1 will automatically added to activity 3. So let me show you how we can do this setup or configuration to retain lag in dissolving the activities. So you can go to my preferences from here in the drop down. If you go to in your name, you can see that we have my preferences. When you click my preferences, this page will open where you can select to retain lag for the dissolved activities. Going to next feature, which is financial period timescale in Gantt. Now the Gantt views of EPS, activities, project assignments, and resource assignment page can show the timescale divided into years, which are then divided into financial periods. Previously, we in 18 till 18.8 version, we only had week to date, month to week, quarter to month, and year to quarter. But now Oracle has added these financial periods, which helps project managers and portfolio managers to view the Gantt chart based on the financial periods of the organization. You know, many organization has different accounting periods and different um, other than your regular year and quarter. So you can define these financial or accounting periods in your administrative tab, where I will show you how to define that financial period so that it will reflect back in your Gantt chart. But if you don't have this financial period, then nothing will show in the Gantt chart, or if you don't have any data or any activities in that particular period, then also nothing will show in the financial period. Only thing is, you can't zoom the financial period time scale using zoom to fit or by dragging the time scale. So let me show where we can show you these financial periods. So this is where you can go and create your financial periods. Okay, you can give start date and finish date for these financial periods and save it. So when you go to an my activities page, you have an option for year to quarter, and as you can see, you have financial periods. So all the data will be shown using the financial periods. You can open multiple projects and keep a WBS view and see what are the WBSs for this financial period as well. Okay, going to the next feature, which is activities feature. So now Oracle has two new additional features in filters, activities filters, which is very helpful. So now you can filter activities to the hour. You can create data filters using hours. I will show you in the application how we can create those filters. And now you have a Oracle has a given option for standard filters for a specific resource and roles. Let me show how it works in application. Go to filters, manage filters, and now, like I told you, now we have a standard filters for resource ID, where you can select any particular resource. So you can filter activities accordingly. So this helps project managers to view what a particular resource is assigned to in any given project. So you can open multiple projects and you can filter using resource ID or role ID, so that project manager can see what activities are these particular resources assigned to. And coming to the next feature, which is create filters by hours. So now we have great option for creating filters by hours. So now if you select current date or current week, you can create filters till hours. Before we used to have, we can create only till days. Now Oracle has provided an option to create hours. This hours helps many project engineers who are doing turnaround projects or shutdown projects, where each and every minute counts, to help these to identify what are the activities coming in next hour or like that. Going to the next feature, which is delete discussion items. Previously we had these discussion items, but we only had an option to edit those discussion items. We didn't have the option to delete the discussion item. Now you can delete discussion comments in P6. You can delete your own contribution to discussion, but for you to delete, you must have a delete discussion comment project privilege to delete the discussion comment. So let me show how we can do that in the application. So I already have created two new discussion items here. Okay, so I can go click delete and select S, and now the option has been the discussion has been deleted, which was created by me. Going to the next slide, which is allow multiple users to access a portfolio. So previously, till previous versions, we only had two options, which is global and user. You can either create an portfolio for global usage, that where your entire company who has access to that particular portfolio can view, or a particular user, that is yourself, and view only for that particular user. But now when you create a portfolio, you can choose to allow selected users to access the portfolio. You can also make existing portfolio available to multiple users and copy and paste portfolio in the portfolio list. So here, let me show you how it works. Just click on portfolios, then manage portfolios. Then now you have an option for multi-user. Select add and select what are the users you want to give access to, so that only the people who you give access to can view this portfolio or access this portfolio view. Going to the next feature, which is improvements to project statistics portlet. You can group and sort the data and view of all levels of WBS in project statistics portfolio. You can also search, print, and download the data in the portlet when you click the project to drill down. Now let me show how this works. Basically, in dashboards, we have a project statistics portlet. Let me show how we can configure that. So now I already opened this project statistics portlet from dashboards, and now I can click on customize view, where I can go group and sort this particular view to any of the existing columns, and yeah, like that. Or I can directly print this particular view using my own printer. Yeah. Okay. So now we are going to new features and enhancements for admin users, which is who has access to admin super user. So for admin users, import and export global data. So now within this release, Oracle has given option to import and export your enterprise or global data into XML format, where you can download your financial periods, all the details such as the WS categories, project codes, um, and overhead codes, document categories, all the codes and baseline types, all these things you can download and import and export, so that when when you are using a import and export, when admin users, when the organizations with multiple instances, they want to use the same global data or enterprise data, they don't need to create and again this activity codes or document categories, overhead codes, and all this data. Let me show how we can do that in the application. So now they have given an option here, import and export enterprise data. Go to export. Let me show what are the data. See, as you can see, you can export either one of the data such as currencies, financial periods, locations, etc., or you can select all the export and click export, and your data will be exported. Okay. Going to the next feature. So now Oracle has actually introduced a new feature which is stored images. So now you can store images in your database to ensure that your users always uses correct and most updated images and logos for header and footer when printing the documents. And there is a printing enhancement as well. Now you can print directly to your default printer. Like I showed you previously, I will show you again in the application how it works. Okay, now this add stored images. So here in enterprise data, if you notice, we have a new option called stored images. So when I click this new option, stored images, click add, so that you can add this logo to your database. And when you are printing, suppose, let me go here and print, click print. Here in edit header page, images, if I click images, I have an option to select whether logo 1 or logo 2, which is nothing but the stored images which I have created now. And now, like I told you, printer settings, you can directly use your current printer, existing printer, instead of previously you used to go through all the other tabs. Now you can directly print from here. This is a very helpful feature for admins, so that always they can be sure that always people uses the right images when they are sending out the project plans to customers or clients. Going to next feature, which is allow or restrict access to resources from multiple parent resources. You can select now you can select up to 5 resources when defining your resources a user can access. The user can access and use the selected resources and all the child resources in the selected resource. Let me show you how this we can do that in the application. Go to administrator, user administrator, then select a particular user and select resource access. This tab has been newly added in the application, which is resource access. Before we used to have only module access and project access. Now they have added new thing called project access. So when you select, you will be able to see all the organizational resources. And when you select, you can just simply select the resource node, and all the resources under this particular resources parent resource, the user will have access. But only thing is you can add only up to 5 resources. Now this tab has been disabled, like you can see. Okay, coming to the next, yeah, I already showed you this. Coming to the next, to the other features, now we have the view migration utility. Allows you to convert classic view to standard views. Access to classic view pages was removed in release 18. Each user can export any classic views to which they had access and import them and create new standard views. And now they have added a simple and new feature called view notifications, where instead of previously you need to go into this drop down menu and see what are the notification. Now they have added this feature outside, so that you can directly see if you have scheduled any reports, or if you have scheduled any import actions. You can see all the notifications coming here. And next feature is WBS fields available in activity space. So now Oracle has given an option for you to filter these particular all these fields at WBS level, which is anticipated start, anticipated finish, uh, parent project status, proposed budget, responsible manager, etc. And you can filter on and group by these columns as well. Okay, coming to the next slide. uh, Now we have completed all the new features and enhancements that we wanted to show, and this is just a brief about image graphics. where what are the services we do. We do implementation services, integration services, managed services, professional services, and training services. So we have very good experience in implementing Primavera across multiple regions and across multiple verticals of businesses, and integrating this Primavera with multiple ERP systems and other project management tools. And we not only do Primavera EPPM, we also have implementation experts in other Primavera applications such as Primavera Unifier, Primavera cloud services. Then we have in Primavera Gateway, Primavera BI, and Primavera Team Member as well. And we have our training services where we offer courses on Primavera, where you can go to our website and visit our website and see what are the courses available. And thank you very much for joining me today. So, and now we have completed our session, and now you can do the hands raise session, so that we can answer any of your questions. If you have any questions, we are open now. Please raise your hands. I will unmute you so that you can ask your question. So, Mr. Shamir Ali, I have unmuted you. Please.
Yeah, my name is Shamir from BW. Okay, and actually, interesting, and it's good to have a session with you, and you are expert in Primavera and implementation. So actually, we are using Primavera 15 version, and we have the projects which is running in that version. We are using EPPM and standalone version.
Okay.
And our concern is when you go for a new version, so what will be the data migration process? We cannot lose any data of projects. We cannot lose any single activity information or resources. That all should come. Should come. Also, how you make this?
Yeah. I understood your question, sir. So we do the upgradation. We are actually we have done many upgradation from 8.3 to 18.8 and 19.12 as well. Okay. So actually, when we do migration, you will not lose even a single resource or a single activity. You can still have all the views from your previous version as well. So you will not lose any data at all, and you can use this feature, new features in the existing Primavera. Yes.
So you will migrate the database, or how the process will be?
Yes, we actually the process. We have already given the email address, sir. Please contact us in email. I would be very happy to explain you the process, and we can have further discussion on this, definitely. And as you can see, please send the email. Yeah.
So they can, in new version, they can use standalone EPPM also.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, tell me.
We do have we follow a proper procedures to make sure that without any data loss, we can push to migrate the complete data from your old version to new version, which is very much possible. The procedures we can discuss in detail. Maybe we will be happy to come to your office, whatever it may be. Send me mail, we will discuss. And then when the new versions comes, typically people had worried that there is any change in the products, how I can push and use it. No need to worry about that. There are a lot more new features, but the same way, same functions, the way you're currently using, that can be very much possible to do with the additional benefits and functions. Okay. There are many options to do the setup, implementation, a server client, even the standalone. Server client working as a similar standalone. There are many options are available, which we can push to discuss, and according to the usage or need of the people, we will be doing it. Plus we do the upgrade training, okay, so that you already expert in Primavera, but we will be here to upgrade training on what are the additional features which can push into helpful for you to do for your projects. So we do upgrade training to make sure that everything has been fine for you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. I will
Okay.
answer the
Thank
question
you.
from other person.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Sheikh. Yes, please post your
Yes.
question.
Good afternoon. How you people are doing? Oh, fine.
We are very good, sir.
Thank you very much
Yes.
for this interactive session. I just wanted to ask you
Thank
one question. Like, what is about the licensing? Is the new cloud-based versions comes up with the professional license, or is like yearly based license like the other company do?
Sir, over the period of time, Primavera have now all the options for you. The typical on-premises standalone license, or the server client architecture license, or cloud-based license. All options are available. Okay. So cloud-based is subscription annual base. On-premises is a perpetual license. All the options are available. When you have now you have a plans to buy some additional license, we are happy to come down to your office to understand your requirement. With respect to that, we can question to suggest and give you options so you can see technically, commercially, which is going to be beneficial for your requirement, and you can take a call accordingly.
Perfect. Perfect. Definitely. Then for anything, I'll get back to you over the email.
Please, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Mr. Saurabh, you have unmuted yourself. Please unmute and please post your question, please. Okay, going to Jigshu. Mr. Jigshu Shah. I think you have posted a question for us. Please.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hello. Yeah, this is Saurabh. Am I
Yes.
audible now?
Yes, Mr. Saurabh. You are audible.
So the query is regarding one of the feature in Primavera.
Okay.
Let's say we are preparing a fresh program.
Okay.
So assuming that it has around 100 resources to be defined, fresh resources to be defined, which are not there in my data bank, resource bank in Primavera.
Okay.
So
Okay.
as of now, I have to manually define each and every one of those resources. And most of my work is done in Excel, and most of the time importing directly from Excel. Apart from this resource sheet. So is there any feature in this new version where I can directly import the fresh resource sheet, including the rates and everything, from Excel to Primavera?
In this release, it is not available, sir. They have only option for us to do XML import using that, where you can create the resources, and once you create it, you can update it back to your database.
Yeah. So first time I'll have to create it in Primavera, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Swapnil, I see that you have posted a question regarding baseline extraction from scheduled project. If we have a baseline BO and updated XML, then can we extract B1 from the updated XML? Yes, sir. Like I showed you in the presentation or in the application as well. Let me show you in the application as well. You can do the baseline extraction and import as well. So when you import, when you import any particular XML file, you have an option to choose whether you want to import or export this particular baseline or not. This option has been given in this particular version only. Let me show you how I have already showed this one. Okay, now you select the project where you want to import. Then when you click on databases, like you see, you can either choose to update the existing baseline, or you can choose to import only the new baselines. So if these two options are available in this particular release, and you can do the same. I think your question has been addressed. And if you have any other question, please raise the hands. Okay, thank you all for attending this event and joining and making it successful. Every month we have these sessions on Primavera topics and different Primavera topics, and we will send you out an email for the same. And if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach us by email or mobile. We are happy to talk with you, discuss with you your requirements, and come down to your office and explain and do this. Thank you very much for attending. I'm closing the session now.